Welcome back to another Porsche car whisper video. If this is your first time checking out my channel, my name is Mason Gilchrist and I cover everything Porsche. And today we're going to be covering the newly released 2025 Porsche Taycan rear-wheel drive variant, and we're going to try to keep it under what I believe is a magic number, which is $125,000. The car, you'll notice, has increased from the previous generation, but there's a lot new of standard equipment that is now being offered, which we'll be covering a little bit in this video. Now, this is just one take. If you guys would like some one-on-one help building your dream Porsche, I'd be more than happy to help you. So I'm offering a consultation service. The link will be down below. Not only will I help you build your dream Porsche, but also with PCM issues, maybe linking your garage door, all those things are part of this consultation service. But without further ado, let's hop behind the configurator and build a rear-wheel drive 2025 Porsche Taycan. Okay, so we're going to hop right behind the configurator, and we're going to be on the US configurator. Now, this may change from country to country, as well as some of the options, but of course, I am willing to help you if you live in any country with a one-on-one consultation. Now, we're going to go straight into the configurator. We're going to go straight to Taycan. Now, you're going to notice that the old Taycan variant is still being offered here on the configurator, but you're going to want to make sure that you select where it says New Taycan Models, as this is where we unlock the magical 2025 Taycan rear-wheel drive. Now, you'll notice some of the specs here at the bottom. Car has increased the 0 to 60 time across the entire model lineup. Now we're sub 5 seconds. Before we were about 5.1 seconds 0 to 60 on the rear-wheel drive Taycan. Now we're at about 4.5. So Porsche is always pushing the threshold, and this new Taycan is no different. Now we're going to go right in here. You'll notice 99,400. A couple years ago, I did a build video if we could keep a Taycan under the magic number of $100,000. Now we're at $125,000, but again, there's quite a bit of more standard equipment. So let's hop right in here to build your Porsche. Now, you'll notice here, I talked about this on my previous video, the Macan EV video. There's now a open 360 view here on the configurator, which I think is pretty slick. Gives us the option to completely open it up, move the car around with our little hand here. We can also change the background if we want it to be a little bit darker. We can certainly do so, as well as open up any of the doors, the front, the trunk. So just a quick little overview of this new configurator. I'm going to keep it with daytime. I like the way that looks. And again, magic number's 125. We're at 101,395. So we've got just about $24,000 to spec a rear-wheel drive Taycan. Now, I'm going to go right down to the colors. You're going to notice contrasts, shades, dreams, legends. This is some of the new marketing that Porsche is doing for how we're naming the colors opposed to just standard color and whatnot. So I'm actually going to go ahead and select Neptune Blue, which it looks like it went ahead and already selected it. So there's our Neptune Blue. I tend to be a big fan of this color. It looks very dark here on the 360 configurator, but if we get out of it, this is what more the car looks like. That's a $1,240 option. I tend to be a sucker for blue, so we're going to stick with that blue color. But again, the highest tier color is $2,850. Then we've also got Paint to Sample and Paint to Sample Plus. Paint to Sample Plus, you'll notice, is about a $30,000 option. That is not one of the listed colors when you go in here. Now Porsche will visualize a lot of the colors, but now Paint to Sample Plus is where you actually have to do a spray out of the color, do a feasibility test. The lead time on this is like 8 months, so that's something that takes a long time to be able to curate and make these colors. Now Paint to Sample, you'll notice, is a little less than half the cost. This is the ability to choose one of those selected colors, but Porsche doesn't offer this at all times. There's only certain allocation months. Sometimes they're over their allotment of Paint to Sample, so sometimes it's offered, sometimes it's not. You're just going to want to check with your local Porsche store and see if Paint to Sample is offered, if that is the route you have decided to go. But for this build purpose and keeping the car under 125, we're going to go with the Neptune Blue. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on. Tend not to be a big fan of these standard wheels, so I'm going to go ahead and upgrade these wheels, and I probably am going to go with the Mission E because there's actually a change that's happened to the Mission E wheel. There's a little bit of changes to some of these wheels. We got a new 20-inch Sport Aero, new 21-inch Aero design wheel. That Spyder design wheel we had in the previous generation, some of you may have recognize that wheel from the Taycan GTS, and then it was also trickled down to the other cars. But Mission E 4680. Now, once we select this option, you're going to see in the past when we selected this on the previous gen, it's going to say, hey, you also need to select the Porsche surface-coated brakes as part of this option. But that is no longer the case for this new 2025 Taycan. So before, when you selected about a $4,000 option, it quickly made it a $7,000 to $8,000 option. But again, that's no longer the case with this brand new Taycan, which is pretty slick because that tends to be my most favorite wheel. Now, in here, we can, of course, change the color of the wheels if we wanted to, but that's something that I'm not going to be doing as part of today's build. Now, we've got the wheel accessories as well. We've got the wheel center caps with colored crest. Tend to like that option for $149. That tends to always be a pretty good one. It's kind of hidden in here. And then once we go into the tire section, the car comes standard with summer tires, especially for these Mission E wheels. But if you'd like, you can also select the 21-inch wheels, which are going to be all season. Now, that's going to increase the rolling resistance, so that's going to maybe decrease the overall distance you'll get from your Taycan. But something that I would probably do, because I'd probably be taking my car in a decent amount of rain, and who knows, maybe even up to the mountains, it's going to be a little bit more difficult in the rear-wheel drive variant. But something that maybe I'd like to do, so you can select those tires for a zero-cost option. Now, I get the question a lot. Are you able to select a particular brand of tire when you are speccing your Porsche? The answer is no, because there's quite a few rated, Porsche-rated or N-rated tires, and it's just kind of whatever comes at that moment in time, and it just depends on what your car is going to end up getting, whether it's Michelin, Pirelli, Goodyear, all just kind of depends. So there's no way to change the brand of tire that you end up getting. Now, as soon as we come down to the interior colors and material, got the standard interior. Tend not to be the biggest fan of that. We got the leather-free interior, which we've got the race text with the Pepita seat centers, which I'm probably going to do that as part of today's build. I tend not to spec something like that, but I love the Pepita as it's a throwback to early Porsches, especially the early 911 from 1963, especially the 901 had this type of interior, houndstooth / Pepita, and I love that. And then we've got the leather interiors. We've got the black. We've got the black red, the black chalk. Again, it's all preference, but today's the 125 build. So we're going to go ahead and do the leather-free race text in black with Pepita seat centers for $1,640. Let's go ahead and hop here onto the inside. The race text on the steering wheel doesn't wear the best, so it's something to be a little bit cognizant of when you are building this interior, but we've got these Pepita seat centers. I think it just looks pretty slick and sporty. Now, once we come down here, we're going to have the 8-way seats, 14, and the 18-way seats. I usually pick a package, so let's review what's in this package, and then maybe I'll end up coming back. So, also got the 2+1. Taycan comes standard with just 4 seats. This adds a little seat there in the center. Also got the heated seats rear, seat ventilation, and then massaging seats. Now, if we go to the premium package, we're going to go in here. We're going to see what it all includes, because this has been changed pretty drastically. In the past, it included things such as lane change assist, and this is not the case now, because actually lane change assist is now standard on this new Taycan, and there's quite a bit of new standard equipment. Heated steering wheel is standard. Lane change assist is standard, just to name a few. I'm going to put the full list up here on the screen so you can review what's all new as part of this new Taycan opposed to the previous generation. Now that brings me to another point. The car starts at $99,000, but with all this new equipment, now the car increased, when we take these options into account, only increases about 1.2% on the Taycan rear-wheel drive, which is a very small percentage when you think about all these new options that you're going to be getting as part of the standard equipment. Now, when we go to the premium package, you're going to notice $6,900. We've got the 14-way seats, which tends to be the most popular. Adaptive cruise control, or ACC, is the ability the car will slow up and speed down based on the car in front of you. So that's what we've got there. Seat ventilation front, cooling seats, heads-up display. Actually, it's showing it here in the main screen. Soft closed doors is the first time this has been offered on the Taycan. In the past, did not have it. It was only on cars such as Panamera as well as the Cayenne. We've got the surround view with active parking support, so a 360 camera with also the ability to have the car park itself. Now, I did a video on this on the previous generation Taycan. If you want to check that out, link is going to be up here above. We've got an ionizer as well as a storage package, which gives you some netting and whatnot. We'll talk about that a little bit later. What's weird is I'm probably not going to select this package because, again, car comes with a lot of standard equipment that I tend to like. I tend to select this, but I'm not going to be selecting it as part of today's build. We're actually going to select some of these things separately. So I'm going to do the 14-way seats. I'm also going to do the seat ventilation, which I've never seen Porsche offered a cloth seat with seat ventilation. So I'm hoping this isn't a glitch and it's going to be something that actually happens, but it's saying that everything is good. So I'm going to continue on. I tend to like the 2+1 seat there in the back. So we're going to go ahead and select that. Probably won't have too many passengers there in the rear, so I'm not going to select the heated seats for them. And we're going to cover a couple more of the options that are part of this. We're just going to select them kind of option by option. Now we're going to come here to the Sport Design package. You're going to notice the front part of the lower lip is going to be painted. It's going to give us some side skirts. The back would also change on any of these, whether it's high gloss, it's in carbon fiber, or if it's painted. I'm not going to be doing that as part of today's build, but something maybe just to keep an eye out. Again, there's so many options in here, you can really customize it. But when we're just talking about the nitty gritty of options, that's something that I would probably not select, is changing any of the front, side, or the rear. We can also just do just the side skirts, just the front bumper. We can also change the exterior mirror, lower trim and exterior color, and base and high gloss black. I'm not gonna be doing any of that. Carbon fiber, window trim, and high gloss black. Standard Taycan comes with a flat black window trim. I think that looks perfect here on these Taycan, especially when we got the Mission E wheels. You can also make it black and high gloss black. So again, these are all different options that we can do. We've got the underdoor puddle light projectors. For those of you who've been following me for quite some time, tend to be a sucker for that option. Again, it's something you can always add later, as it's a $330 option. Now let's go ahead and continue on. We're going to go to exterior decals and logos. Model designation in rear in high gloss black. Model designation in rear in satin black. So this is just going to change the Taycan. I'm not going to do any of those. I'm actually just going to get rid of it. So then, to be honest, it's almost a 4S, GTS, in the future, Turbo S in disguise. Just is going to say Porsche. Now there is the ability that people have been talking about for quite some time, which is the ability to make the Porsche illuminated. You're going to see that option a little bit later down here in the configurator. So just give me one moment here and we will get to that. Now performance, rear axle steering. This is the ability, especially if you're taking the car to the track. The rear wheels are going to turn in the opposite direction at low speeds and in the same direction as the front wheels at higher speeds. Really helps whip the car around, something that we're not going to do as part of today's build. Torque vectoring, also the ability to brake the inner brake in the rear and really whip you around. Not going to be doing that as part of today's build. Now, that's something else that's also going to be standard, is the drive mode switch is standard. So you'll notice here, if we look on the inside, you're going to see that drive mode switch there. But we can also get the Sports Chrono package, which also now gives us what's called a push to pass button, as well as the clock up here in the dash, a lap timer, a Sport Plus mode. So I'm going to go ahead and option the Sports Chrono package, as I love the way it looks. I love what it adds to the car. Now in the past, you may have noticed that the rear-wheel drive Taycan came with PASM, or Porsche Active Suspension Management, which was the ability to change the dampeners. Now the car comes standard with air suspension, which has been changed as well. It's a 2-valve, 2-damper system, as it previously was, unless you get the active air suspension, where the car can actually change the active ride, and that's a 1-valve, 2-damper system. We're going to talk about some of these in later videos, not as part of today's build, as I feel like I can maybe get in the weeds with some of these options, but that is something that you'll notice is no longer offered as well as the air suspension, because again, that's standard equipment. Now we're coming here to the Porsche surface coated brakes. I'm not going to do any of those, or the PCCBs, so I feel like maybe those aren't quite necessary here on today's build. And you can also get the brake calipers in high gloss black. As standard on the rear wheel drive variant, they're going to be an anodized color, so that's something that you'll notice. Now I'm going to spec the Performance Battery Plus here. It's not going to get us faster 0 to 60 times on the Taycan rear wheel drive, but it is going to increase the range. Porsche has not publicly posted any range. A lot of people have been doing range tests. they've been getting in the mid 300s as the battery size has increased for this Taycan rear-wheel drive. I'm actually going to show you here and talk about a little screenshot that I have here about the overall size of the battery. So the previous battery was a 79.2 kilowatt hour battery for the standard performance battery, and now has been increased to 89 kilowatt hours or 82.3 kilowatt hours of usable battery. You'll notice the previous battery, Performance Battery Plus, was a 94.3, but only about 83.7 kilowatt hours. So the new Taycan Performance Battery, which is standard on Taycan and Taycan 4S, is almost the same usable power as the Performance Battery Plus previously was. So that's very good that Porsche was able to do that. For the new Taycan Performance Battery Plus, we're now at 105 kilowatt hours or 97 kilowatt hours of usable power. Now, we've got the cell capacity. We're not going to get too much into that today. We've got 28 cell modules and 33 on the battery that we just selected. The minimum temp fast charging has been decreased. The maximum current with launch control has been increased 21%. Porsche has also decreased the weight of the battery, both for the Performance and the Performance Battery Plus, which is pretty fantastic. You'll notice it's a 16% increase in overall battery size, and the weight is down 22 pounds for the Performance Battery Plus. So they've done some pretty magic work here with this new battery. Not only is it lighter, but it's a lot more efficient and has a lot more range to the car. That brings me to another point. Porsche has also increased the motor. The weight of the motor is also down about 22 to 23 pounds, and it's also a lot more efficient. So Porsche is working their magic as they always do on this new Taycan. Now I'm going to close the performance section. We've got the lights and vision. Tend to like these HD matrix headlights. These were first offered in the new Cayenne, then Panamera. Now they're coming to the Taycan as well as the Macan. So I'm going to select it. We don't have the full functionality, but later in a video, I'm going to talk about exactly what are these HD matrix headlights. We don't have, again, the full functionality in the US, but I'm going to talk about what each section of the light includes and just give kind of a quick demo, but I'm not going to do that as part of today's build. You can also do it here in Glacier Blue. Now the light strip lighting up, if you'd like that, we've got the light strip with Porsche logo in Glacier Blue. Now the illuminated portion is right here for $1,450. We don't have the extra real estate as part of today's build to do that, but it's something that you will notice. In the past, as part of the Premium Package Plus, we had the fixed panoramic roof in glass. I'm not doing a fixed panoramic roof as part of today's build. I think it looks pretty slick just to have the double bubble, which you'll notice on a lot of special Porsches, 911R, GT3 RS, always tend to have the double bubble. I think it's pretty slick to have it. Also kind of goes along here with the hood and continues on up. So again, not something we're going to do. Also, we've got the variable light control roof, not an option we're going to do either. And the little bit thicker glass tends to help, especially for outside road noise, and also if you decide to get the Burmester sound system. Now going back here to the interior, we don't have a lot of real estate left. We're at $121,275. The goal, $125,000. Now, if you weren't speccing the Performance Battery Plus and you didn't find that extra range is going to be usable and not something that you're not going to benefit from, then maybe about 120, 121 to me would be kind of a sweet spot for the car. As we continue on, we're going to notice we can change the interior trimming, carbon fiber, Pallado, which is like a wood. Again, we're just going to continue on. I'm not going to do any of these as part of today's build, but of course, if you guys decide that you would like to spec that, go ahead and send me a note or book a consultation, and I will go over what each of those options are. I'm going to go ahead and do the storage package. Again, quick little note here of what it includes. Bag hook in the rear luggage compartment, storage tray, front center console. You'll also notice a tray here in the rear. So for $280, why not? I'm going to close this section. If it loads... There we go. We're going to go to deviated leather and deviated stitching color. Not anything here that we're going to do as part of today's build. Seat belts and seat design color. I am going to do the Porsche crest on the headrest. Love the classiness of this. Can also get the sun visors in leather. So there's a lot of stuff. Seat backs in leather, colored seat belts. Again, not doing this as part of today's build. We're just doing kind of the nitty gritty of the car. Now you can change it to a GT steering wheel if you'd like, as well as carbon fiber. Here is the leather free. Not going to mess with any of that either, but you can certainly tell a difference with the GT Sport steering wheel. Keys, We got the pedals in aluminum. Again, we're not going to be doing any of those today. Door sill guards, carbon fiber, sun visors in leather. There's a lot of stuff in here, but I'm not going to do it as part of today's build. We're going to go ahead and continue on, get a little bit more of those nitty-gritty options for the remaining $4,000. Now, we've got night vision assist. To be honest, these HD Matrix headlights are incredible at night and really light up the road. But of course, if you're driving in places where there's not a lot of street lights, great option. I am going to option the surround view with active parking support. Again, 360 camera, also the ability to park the car, take your hands off the wheel. Again, if you want to check out that video, go ahead and check the link up here above. Remote park assist makes you feel like James Bond. Park the car all from your cell phone. ACC, we of course can add it, and we can also do it with active lane keeping and Porsche InnoDrive. Also did a video on that. You can also check the link up here above. Not going to be doing that or any of those as part of today's build, but $1,420 for ACC, that's a pretty good price, especially historically. It's been a lot higher than that. Heads-up display, of course, I've done a video on that as well, and you guys can check that out. Link for that one will be up here. Soft closed doors, again, first time is offered here on the Taycan. Don't think I'm going to do any of these options here. Probably will do the preparation for Porsche dash cam front and rear. This is just a pre-wiring. However, it's going to make us get the fixed panoramic roof glass, which I'm not going to do, so we're not going to even do that, to be honest, as part of today's build. That is new. They didn't have that previously where it made you get that. We got the passenger display, Bose surround sound. Definitely going to be selecting that for $1,200. We've got the Burmester, $7,000. That is quite the incredible sound system. We've got the preparation for rear seat entertainment, and then we've got the rear seat entertainment itself. Passenger display is going to be just like it is on the Cayenne, where you got a privacy glass. Previously, we did not have that on the Taycan, and you can watch YouTube, Disney, all those kind of things through in-car video. So, e-mobility, you're going to notice there's a secret little section here, and that is the Porsche electric sport sound. Unfortunately, that's going to take us right over our 125, 125, 135. So that's going to be the end of our speccing, but we've got the 1 year included. So you'll notice that's less than it previously was. It used to be 3 years, up to 30 minutes of free charging at Electrify America charging stations. Now it's 1 year. So this is just one take of how I would spec the car. I love this new car, especially with all the new technology that Porsche has enacted with it. The car looks incredible. They made it even look a little bit sportier. The lines are a little bit more aggressive here on the hood. Of course, we got the Mission E, the power charge port door, another option that is now standard on this new Taycan. So again, this is just one take. If you guys want help, link will be down below. And as always, I appreciate your guys' support. Thanks for watching the video. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.